the impact of his death would be a big deal to you. It would be absolutely huge. But at the same time, if somebody who was 15 years older than you said, "Ah, I remember the night John Lennon was shot," you'd go, "Big deal, I was 2.
Right.
I don't care." Or if you were, it was 1985 and somebody says, "Yeah, I remember the day Elvis Presley died," you'd go, "Who cares? Old guy. Fat, bloated, died in the toilet. Who cares? It doesn't mean anything for you." So if you're a 17-year-old kid now, you were 2 when Kurt Cobain died. You have no possible connection with that era. Why do people keep going on about this guy? I don't care. So that's what you want to, what we're trying to explore. Have we reached that point where it's like, okay, like anything else, Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, Elvis Presley, John Lennon, have we moved on? And has Kurt Cobain gone from being a cultural icon to nostalgia? And I would argue we're really on the verge of being nostalgia. Not that there's anything wrong with it, it's just the natural lifespan of anything. He'll still be a hero of many, he'll still be an inspiration to many, but 15 years on, we're moving on.
Yeah. Do you feel there are any bands today that hold up to influential acts like Pink Floyd, Nirvana?
No, and there never will be ever another one
So
again.
all the good rock is dead?
No, it has to do with technology. Remember how I said that when I was growing up I had a choice of 3 radio stations to listen to? With such little choice, it was easy to build consensus. If the DJ said this band was good, everybody believed this band was good and went out and bought those records. Today, where do you get your music from? 1 billion different places. And again, you can customize your musical experience just for you. There's no consensus. There's no big group of people who believe that this one band is the greatest thing ever. I'm telling you right now that U2, last superstar act we'll ever see. Some figures came out this morning that in the first quarter of 2009, not a single release sold 1 million copies in North America in the first quarter. Not a single release. First time it's ever happened. And even U2, with all the hype, sold 740, 750,000 records. So, again, the consensus is gone. All we have now is a series of self-organizing micro-communities where, hey, I like this band for now, and then I'll drift off and like another band later.
I wanted to go back to, you touched on a little bit, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, Kurt Cobain, they all died when they were 27.
Scary age.
I'm 27 right now. I wanted to get your thoughts about the 27 curse.
Okay, don't point a shotgun at your head.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to kiss the end of a shotgun, that's fine.
Don't take heroin.
Yeah.
And try not to have a bath and a heart attack at the same time. Those are 3 things that I would... I don't know. I think what happens is that when there is a certain personality where you come out of your teens and into your 20s and you're full of life and you burn life at both ends, and you last only so long, 6, 7, 8 years, and it just so happens all those people died at that age where it's like middle age of your 20s. You've realized that all those youth years are behind you. Sorry, dude. I turned 47 on Monday.
No, that's no problem. I've accepted it.
Okay, good. But all those years of you partying in college, and you're having girlfriends, and indiscriminate sex, and getting loaded, and taking drugs, and all that wild stuff, it starts to pile up, and you look back on what's happened in your life, and maybe there's a crisis of confidence, and you start doing stupid things. I mean, each one of those people, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Kurt Cobain, Jim Morrison, they were all very hard livers, and they just all burned out at more or less the same time. I don't think it's a curse. I think it's just how they lived their lives. Really, really hard.
I know you have a couple of audiobooks out, and there's one where you cover the history, or the making of The Downward Spiral and Pretty Hate Machine. And you talked about how Trent recorded in the Manson murder's house.
Yes.
any interesting stories that when you were doing your research?
Well, he says he didn't know that he was in that house. He moved to New Orleans. He wanted to spend some time. He had some money from Loduca. Jimmy Iovine of Interscope Records had given him a good advance on the record, so he could do whatever he wanted to. And he needed some time where he could just, find the next sound.
Mm-hmm.
So he apparently went through 15 or 20 houses, real estate agents, through Los Angeles. And they found this place at 10,050 Cielo Drive. And the price was right. It was isolated. It's kind of a nice split ranch bungalow-y type thing. So we'll take it. And it turns out to be the place where the Tate murders took place. And I have my brother-in-law who is an engineer, an architect, an engineer. I had him do a schematic where all the bodies were found in the house. And put it in, there was actually a print version of that book. And so 7 people died there. And, Pate was scrawled on the wall and blood. Trent says he didn't know. The house doesn't, I actually went to see if I could find the house. But I got there 6 months too late, because earlier in the year it had been destroyed in the Northridge earthquake. So it's gone. There's nothing left of it.
They actually rebuilt it on the same property?
It's not the same
but
house.
But it's not the same house?
Yep.
So do you believe that?
There are 2 periods in Trent's life. There is the stuff, there's about 3. There's when he's young and trusting. And then there's the middle part where he's blitzed out of his brain. And then there's the current Trent, which is a very sober, smart, clean businessman. It's hard to get the truth out of him because he's very, very guarded right now. I do believe him to as much as anybody can. He's just very, very guarded. I've interviewed him a number of times, and he's been burned too many times for him to actually open up too much. So there's never been an official biography of him either.
Right.
There's a reason for that.
Well, unfortunately, we've reached the formal part of the interview.
Okay.
But I just wanted to thank you for coming down.
Oh,
and
you're
sitting
very
down and
welcome.
talking to
Thank
us.
you so much.
You're so welcome.
You can relax now, yeah. But if you don't mind, I'm sure there's 8,000 people that have questions.
No, that's fine. We can do that.
And I
No,
do too.
I still have a million questions.
Oh, go
too.
for it. No, usually you have like a 30-minute limit. They have to do it in
Okay.
a hard time. But you're the interviewing guru about. We'd love to hear some of your. You were mentioning something earlier this morning, earlier this afternoon about how you had to do it with Glaswegian. How do you say it?
Glaswegian. There's a band called Las Vegas. The singer, James came in, and really thick Glaswegian accent. See, the problem, the worst interviews in the world are British bands or UK bands who have achieved a certain level of success at home and in Europe, and have been told by the press and the people that they're the greatest band since the Beatles. At the same time, they're very guarded because they know that the media in the UK is always out to get them. That's the way it works. They build them up and then they tear them down. And they build them up and they tear them down. So when they come over to North America, they don't really know how to deal with us. They think that we're just going to get them to say something and then we're going to sensationalize it and then their career is going to be in tatters. So they're very, very guarded. And they have a chip on their shoulder, which is awesome. So it takes a while for you to, get them comfortable enough so that they begin to see, okay, I'm not going to get ambushed here. This could be fun. So I actually had to start this interview twice because the first time I got one-word answers.
And this was in the studio, recording in the studio?
This is in a room with a camera and recording it into a computer, the whole bit, because it'll be up on the website on Monday. And we needed a blog entry for Monday. We wanted this. This band sold 1 million records in the UK. They're a hot commodity amongst the indie crowd here. We wanted to get something. And it was like, yes, no, yes, no. It was in such a thick Glaswegian accent that this wasn't working. So, okay, we'll stop and we'll start again. So we started again, and he started to, I gave him a softball questions like, okay, tell us about the band, where you came from and all that sort of stuff, which is a boring bullshit question, but you have to start someplace. Then I noticed that he was wearing